Welcome, everyone, to 15 Minutes with Judi. Today, I am joined by an amazing woman in our support industry, Julie Baxter-Rudd. Julie, you're currently the Vice President of Global Customer Support at Elastic.
I am.
Would you like to do a quick couple of minutes about your background in the support industry?
Sure. I've been in the industry just shy of 30 years. Started with, I was at CA Technologies for a long time. I was there for 22 years. Then I moved to OpenText and I joined the Elastic team about 2.5 years ago. So yeah, I've done all sorts of different roles. I've been an engineer, I've been a team lead, I've been a planner, I've been a business analyst, I've done delivery, I've done people. So now I'm running the global support organization for Elastic.
Fantastic. I'm really glad you joined us today, and I've been looking forward to our conversation, Julie. I'm going to go off script for a second because no, in a good way. Here's my thought. A lot of people in our industry did not start in our industry. They started somewhere else and maybe joined support, or people have joined support and left. You and I have a very similar background where support has been in our DNA since we started our career. I know why I do it, but tell me why you do it. Why is this your chosen place, and why not moving into one of the other service lines, but why have you stayed in support?
I think if you talk to any long-termer in the support industry, you'll probably get the same answer. And 9 times out of it's number one is people. So while we work in the technology business, we're in the people business. We're either supporting them internally or we are supporting our customer base. And we're 9 times out of 10, we're helping customers out of trouble. The second thing is we're problem solvers. So we love a puzzle and we're fixes, and we get a lot of satisfaction of being able to answer a situation. Because of the actions that we take, we solve a problem and we get the customer back up and running, or we help the customer get the most out of the technology that they've invested in. So they're the 2 main reasons. But for me, it's people. I love working with people. People fascinate me, and the more diverse, the better. So the fact that I'm running an international team just ticks more boxes for me. So I think it's just I love working with people.
That's awesome. Thank you. Same reason for me, and I think for me too, having had the opportunity to lead teams similar to what you've done, obviously, in your career, and just being able to see where they are now and the impact that they're having now on teams that they lead and things like that. It just gives you that warm sense and that sense of accomplishment. I think unlike standing up a server or doing something like that, I mean, it's just amazing. And you have these spider webs out into the community that are so fragile yet so strong.
Yeah, it's a small industry as well. So paths cross all the time. So you do get to you do kind of get to build your network, and you can rely on it, and you see people go off into different directions, and you come back and you separate, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned in that answer that you started out as a support engineer. So you've definitely run the gamut of a career, and obviously you still have many places that you may want to go. But how did that help you be the amazing leader that you are today? And how did being a support engineer and some of the pivotal moments you have in your career, how does it influence how you lead, how you take care of your customers? Tell me about that a little bit.
Well, I think doing the job first gives you an appreciation of it, because it's a hard job. It can be a really tough job. So having walked in those shoes myself kind of it gives you the appreciation and the empathy for how tough it can be sometimes, but also how rewarding as well. So you've got there's that kind of yin and yang of the role. So having done the job myself, albeit it was a long time ago, things have changed a lot since I was a support engineer. You just get that empathy. But I think if I think about pivotal moments in my career, that that got me to where I am today. I think it goes back to that kind of problems, because that I'm a problem fixer. I'm always the one that kind of sniffs out an opportunity for improvement, and I've done that from being a support engineer all the way through my career. And what that's done is it's afforded me opportunities, because I'm the voice in the room that says, this is broken, I think we should go fix it. 9 times out of 10 they just give it to me to fix. So there's the saying, careful what you wish for, right? So a lot of my opportunities in my career have come from that. I've been the one who's identified a problem and being passionate about fixing it, and then I get the responsibility to go fix it. So that, I think, has kind of led me to where I am today as well, definitely.
What are some of those pivotal moments that you mentioned in your career? Like, can you look back and look at a couple of events that happened in your life and say, that's really influenced me?
I think, again, I think one of them is it's kind of shaped me as a leader that I am today. And I think one is the fact that I'm female in a very, very male dominated industry. So I think being in a minority group, you get it. It toughens you up and you become very resilient. But again, you appreciate everybody that's in the organization with you, and especially when you're running international teams, that diversity is really key. Having a baby. So being forced to take like I was forced to have a baby, but being kind of forced to take a career break. And that kind of lends itself to not only people who are becoming parents, but also people who have who get ill or have to take care of an aging parent, or mental health issues, or whatever it happens to be, being forced to take a break from a career and kind of being able to kind of manage that. Again, creating that empathy and that sympathy and that understanding of what that can feel like. And the other thing I would say is failing, right? So I've been in the industry for 30 years, and I've failed in very small ways, and I've failed in some spectacular ways as well, right? So, and how people treat you, particularly from a leadership perspective, when you make a mistake or when you fall down, and both the good and the bad have informed how I try and treat people today. So I have scar tissue from management or leadership treating me very badly in those situations. And I've also got really positive experiences where you've fallen down, and what they do is they reach a hand out, they pull you up, back onto your feet, dust you off, and they say, all right, what did we learn? Those have been pivotal moments for me, because that I try and take that forward. I try and pay that forward into the way that I lead people today as well. And I think the other thing would be, I've been offered developmental roles. So when my first VP-ship was given to me by a gentleman called Rob McCabe, and kind of he championed me and he sponsored me. And again, I've tried to pay that forward. But then I worked for a gentleman called Dayton Submergent, and he gave me a developmental role as an SVP running global support for CA, which was over 900 people, which was a very overwhelming number for me at the time. But he did it in such a way that he wrapped around me a lot of support from the leadership team, and I got to work with some amazing people and get to sit at the table and learn from some incredible people in a very, very safe way. And I think that taught me a lot as well. And I try and do that myself as well with the team that I've got now, in creating those developmental roles or creating those opportunities to kind of go grow and learn. So that's kind of informed who I am today and how I try and kind of take things forward.
I love that in the matter of one answer, you mentioned scar tissue and safety nets, right? Both of those being so real and so relevant. And, not minimizing the fact that, as a woman, there's still not enough women, I feel, in our industry at some of the senior positions. I'd like to look around and see more. I know you're a champion for that, and I appreciate that as well, Julie, because I think we all have a job to do there.
We do. I think we have to support each other. Absolutely.
Without a doubt. So tell me, you're leading a team, you said 200 plus across 25 countries today, if I'm not mistaken, with Elastic.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing that? I just had a conversation last week, and one of the, we're still doing the discussion. Remote work works, remote work doesn't work. Talking to some individuals who unfortunately find themselves out of a job now because they're back to office, but they had moved, during COVID to be near family and such. Tell me about building a global team and some of the things that you keep top of mind and things you'd encourage others to think about right now as we're still in this feels like flexible situation that people are wrestling with.
Yeah, and I think it's even worse. I think people were hired into remote positions during the pandemic, and then the company have made a decision to go back to work, and they can't because they're remote. What I love about Elastic is that we're remote by design, so that makes it a lot easier for us. I think when you look at it, if you're all remote, it's pretty easy. If you're all in the office, it's pretty easy. The hybrid is I think that's what everybody's kind of trying to wrangle down at the moment, and that's quite tricky because you always felt there's always someone that feels like they're on the periphery or they're not being included or they're excluded in some way. And we've all been there where we're the one on the conference call and everybody else is in the room. That's really hard. But I think Elastic, because Elastic's remote by design, it makes it easier because everybody's in the same boat. And I think we try and make a point of trying to get people together, whether it's locally in small groups, or we try to get people together en masse. My team is over 200 people now, so it's extraordinarily expensive to get people together. But we do try and get them together every now and again. And I brought my team together last year in two halves, obviously because someone needs to keep the lights on, someone needs to kind of keep running the support organization. So I split them in half, took half of them to Madrid in the September, and then I brought the other half in the October, and we got together that way. And that allows people to kind of make those connections. And I must have to say, I'm very lucky in the team that I got. I inherited my team from a guy called Marty Messer, who was my predecessor here at Elastic. And we have very, very different leadership styles, me and Marty. But the one thing that I did that I really, really appreciate and I've benefited from is he created this really galvanized team. But the team that I inherited really care about each other. Like when the laptop is closed, it's closed and no one disturbs you. If you're on holiday or if you're on the weekend or whatever, they will make sure that they've got you covered. So I love that about the team that I inherited. And obviously the team has grown since then. And it was a lot of pressure on me because my job was just not to screw it up, right? So trying to kind of maintain that culture, that culture of care within the team. And I think that helps as well. And then doing things like celebrating everything, not just the stuff that we do at work and the achievements that we make at work, but what we do at home. And we've got Slack in Elastic, and we've got lots of kind of personal channels. And we have one called Support Not Work, where people will go somewhere, or they'll take an amazing photo, or their kids have graduated from college, or they've achieved something personal, and they'll share it on the Support Not Work channel, and we all pile on, and it's kind of amazing. And again, because I'm a very people person, again, I love that, seeing people outside of their working environment. So we try and celebrate that too. Then the rest of it is just basic leadership, setting expectations, telling people what you expect of them, giving them the resources to kind of go do it, inspecting what you expect, and then celebrating when they do a good job, and just kind of making sure that you're recognizing people and reminding people the value that they bring. The day-to-day stuff that you do, we get lost in the tasks and the activity of the day, but consistently reminding them the value that they bring to not only the support department, but to the organization as whole because of what they do with our customers. And I think you have to repeat that over and over again. You have to, like a broken record, and remind them and connecting the dots into what they do in support and how that drives the business forward.
Absolutely. We had our conference recently, and our first live in person. We've done it virtually before, but it gave me the opportunity to meet members of my team that I've worked with for 2+ years, but hadn't met in person. And it was amazing to watch people come together just over 2 days, and how it started out with a handshake and ended with a hug, when everybody was saying goodbye. And, just the smiles and the appreciation that they had for each other, and that I developed. Like, I saw my team in a whole different light when they were engaging, face to face, and realized that one of my team members, by the way, who is a gentleman you would least expect, is one of the best break dancers I've ever met. And
I love that. I love that.
It's not something that anybody saw coming, and yet it was, a perfect moment. And
I love that. I
yeah,
must say, when we did the support summit, there were obviously on day one we had a registration table, and I sat there with the support staff, and I kind of sat there and I was giving out the lanyards with the names on it and all that kind of stuff. So I was sat, and there was like a drinks reception when they first got there, and just watching people meet. It was the best people watching, like watching people meet and saying hi, and again shaking hands or hugging because they hadn't seen each other for a long time, and just seeing that kind of that connection happening right in front of you. It was my favorite part of the whole week. I loved it.
yeah, yeah, that's amazing.